everybody, I am very sorry, but I can't look away from giant raging dumpster fires, and Hardsuit Labs tends to actually be one giant raging dumpster fire, because the more I investigate them by the day, the worse the fire looks. So, first of all, this isn't on Hardsuit Labs, this is definitely on Paradox. Paradox forums are being heavily censored whenever people speak out about the recent staffing decisions in Bloodlines 2. I can say that I've read everything the community is saying across all of our social media and communications channels, including Reddit forums, Facebook groups, and beyond. We're listening, making note of what the community want to see, and rather than pushing more delays, want to bring you a meaningful update or DD when we're good and sure. Except that at the moment, we're not talking about game, we're talking about what the hell's going on with your studio. Fired most people, you hired completely new people for positions that should have already been done and finished, such as writing. It's like you're rewriting the full game right now, which actually does not inspire confidence in you, inspires the complete opposite. It inspires huge anxiety and gets people to refund their pre-orders, which is, I actually encourage you to do so. If you have pre-ordered Bloodlines 2, like, refund it. Refund it. If it turns out any decent, you can pay £50 on release. You don't need to pay £50 for a game that might not even be coming out. But anyways, an evil joke, which is one of my subscribers, wrote, "Almost nobody, neither here nor anywhere else, had problems with the delays because the fanbase knows that it's a cursed IP." That's true. Bloodlines is a cursed IP. World of Darkness is a cursed IP. As I already said in another topic, which mysteriously vanished after you closed it, is that these usual tactics your bosses pull each time there's any criticism from your customers doesn't cut it for a fanatic and dedicated community as World of Darkness community is. Not to mention that at least half of it are Slavs, like me, and you all should know by now, how we Slavs behave on the internet. I am so proud that it's Eastern Europeans that is into, like, super dark shit. Then again, doesn't, like, super surprise me, because when I go up outside dressed like I am dressed right now, I have, like, a decent coat, okay? I have, like, a decent winter coat. I have a lot of English kids that will actively sneer or laugh at me or try to boo me or try to throw things at me just because I'm dressed in black. Like, what the hell, guys? As opposed to in Lithuania that had 2 million people. Like, our inhabitants are down to 2 million in total in the whole country, and we had a dedicated goth shop. That just kinda... there's something about Eastern Europe and death and sorrow and all the other things that we're kind of a bit hooked into it. So I don't really know why you, HSL, PDX, React, all Pikachu face when we, after months of silence, have to find out via LinkedIn, Twitter, and other social media, still no word from you, the incomprehensive decisions that Human Resources Department took by first removing the writing staff, especially Chris and Brian, then hiring new staff, and all of this 7 months after the game was scheduled in the first place, plus that there is no new release date except soon TM. Regarding Chris Avalon, a topic which is even more buried than the rest, the proof that everything was a lie is out there all over the internet. You really goofed with your hiring decision, and we will remember. Cheers. P.S. This time I'll be clever enough to screenshot this, just in case. Moderator comes in and they're very upset. Screenshot away at posts that violate the forum rules and wonder why they are deleted. Listen, PDX has very simple rules of conduct, and no moderator wants to delete posts. However, these that breach the rules of conduct routinely are. Please post constructively, and all criticism is welcomed as long as it's constructive. This is all that it's asked. From the looks of it, now this isn't in the rules, but from the looks of it, from following other topics, the reason why topics are getting closed is because A, Chris Avallone is being brought up with the whole hashtag #MeToo thing, and B, because the criticism is levied against their hiring decisions rather than the game itself. Like, they have that rule of do not criticize, probably they have that rule of do not criticize developers or moderators. EA has that rule as well. So, I get banned off the Sims forums a lot. And currently I'm on my last ban, which is lasting 6 months. By the way, which is funny, because I have won their little special competition that they set up, and they're actually communicating privately with me through emails going, you're a celebrated member of the community and we're gonna send some goodies your way. Well, I am actively banned off their forums. So yeah, that's a whole nother circus show that I am not sharing because I do not know what those goodies are yet, but that's gonna be amusing. It was locked due to certain individuals deciding to slander a new hire based on past circumstances and rumors. Fiona is only trying to keep the discourse civil, where no one just slanders a developer, especially when they may not have all the facts. So it was probably fine until it approached that territory. Now, the whole Chris Avallone versus the girl that they just hired thing is quite interesting because I discussed this in a different video. She effectively posted that the guy made her feel really uncomfortable and that she fully believes all the stories about him that were circulating the Me Too, and that he is, like, implied involved in some horrible shit. But then she deleted that tweet and then posted that, well, yeah, nothing happened that would be a legal concern. That's why she's deleting the previous tweet. It's just that there was, like, this aura of uncomfortability around him. Woo! So, yeah, when you hire that person after getting rid of the guy who got attacked, people are gonna talk about it. People are gonna talk about it. This isn't gonna be on their forums, by the way, on my video, so it's fine. They can't really remove me off YouTube. They can try. They can try if they really, really want to, but then I'm gonna raise hell if they do. Now, if you look at Vampire The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 Steam forums, they're not locking every topic, okay? There's a lot of topics that are talking about the game, the concerns, how horrible that's going, that are not locked. But there's like a wall of locked topics, page by page. Don't look good. Don't look good. It's looking as if you're trying to, like, bury certain things down, at least a little bit. Not as hard-hitting as the Paradox forums, by the way, because that post that I read out loud got the person a 2-year ban. A 2-year ban for that post in particular. So yeah, Paradox is, like, going all out with Flamethrower. Steam moderators are just kind of taking out a guillotine and the head chopping here and there. It's not Flamethrower territory yet. But they are trying. They are trying. Now, if you go to Hardsuit Labs reviews, recent reviews from people, not great. Paradox can't let studio fail yet, so there is some job security unless they don't like you, but they won't tell you until too late. Devs are pretty cool if they stick around and or aren't fired, but turnover is high regardless. Managers are cast-offs from failed positions at other companies or failed companies. Contracts don't seem set up well and hurt company because company agreed to something unrealistic. Effectively, it might be that they tried to bite off more than they could chew, which I don't think is a surprise to anybody. Like, making an RPG as one of your first games from a very well-known franchise is a bit high stakes. Taking an already existing one at that and adding a sequel to it, the sort of sequel, considering that you're playing a completely different character, that is like another pot of expectations. If people gave me World of Darkness, right? If they gave me the ability to use the IP, and I got to take funding and to collect my first ever development studio, which would be a completely fucking awful idea, considering that I have never ran a video game development. I mean, I studied it, but I never ran a studio or anything like that, so awful idea. But if they gave me that, I would actually try and set it in Europe. It doesn't matter if we're setting it around the Tismiti in Romania or if we're setting it in the heart of Manchester, because literally that is just a bus ride away for me. So if I wanted to scout out real locations, that would be extra easy. I mean, that studio's in Seattle, they're not in Los Angeles, so they could have made Seattle instead. But yeah, I would be setting it close to where I am, because I know where I am, but on top of that, there's not a lot of information there, which allows me to be creative, which allows me to avoid expectations of writing in old characters in a believable way, which allows me to create completely new characters, which is a good idea when you're taking an existing IP and you kind of want to do your own thing with it, okay? It's a good... allowing yourself creativity is a good idea. It's a more better idea than taking somebody else's character and then trying to stay faithful to that character. That is harder. That is harder. By going, this is specifically Vampire The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 instead of Vampire The Masquerade Seattle, you know, they put themselves into a bit of a high expectation place to begin with. Considering that they don't make RPGs normally, bad idea. Bad idea. Shift with parent company has caused increasing problems. Parent company sort of owning us is a problem because they aren't fully motivated to help versus having just enough leverage to force change. Sudden shifts in personnel that make no sense and could be corrected. The "we do a careful selection of applicants" claim isn't true. Often they have difficulty getting applicants because there's much better opportunities in the area. More pay, more benefits, larger support structure. Effectively, they're being cheap. The studio is being cheap. Probably with a good reason. Probably because they can't afford to be anything but cheap, but it's not a good look for the product. Strange art turnover. Worse, art department isn't trusted. Gameplay design, or lack thereof, is enough to give headaches that last a year, or the whole dev cycle. Game designers are pretty closed off and don't take critique well. Left hand doesn't know what right hand is doing, or the left hand either. Enter into projects and IPs they know very little about, but don't make the effort to really learn or care. That's very dangerous right there. Studio problem with micromanaging. You have to justify every single decision to the point you wonder why they even hired you. Work on products you understand. That is their advice. Because explaining how an RPG works to those who never worked on one but insist on approving and judging each piece of content wastes a lot of time. Don't work on IPs and genres if you're not gonna hire for them. Stop embarrassing yourself in Paradox milestone meetings because you all sound like idiots who have no idea what's going on and inspires no trust from the publisher. So effectively, this is the third video in a row that I'm doing because I am very invested in sinking ships that are on fire because it's like a train wreck. You can't look away. It's human condition. Don't mind me. This is the third video that I'm doing about it, and this is not even like everything that I can dig up that's going wrong right now, okay? This is a piece of what I can dig up that's going wrong right now. That just tells you how on fire Hardsuit Labs is. I'm gonna try and stop making these videos, but I have just it's deep rabbit hole. You get fascinated the deeper down you go. You're like, oh my god, you guys are in such shit, and I don't think that you even realize it. So yes, I hope that this has been informative for you all. If anyone wants to drop this video on Paradox forums, please feel free, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna get yourself banned. And thank you for watching. If you like my content, please subscribe. I make gaming news videos every single day. And toodaloo.